And for more, let's speak with Stephen Nagy. He's Professor of Politics and International Studies at the International Christian University, and he joins us live from Tokyo right now. Professor, very good of you to join us. Thank you very much. So I want to ask you, does the LDP's partnership with the Innovation Party effectively clear the way now for Takaichi to become the next prime minister? My understanding and what I'm reading is that there's still 2 votes that's required. There's 2 votes shy, the coalition, and there potentially could be runoff voting as well.
So what we see, and good morning, Arnold, good morning, Liz. We see that the coalition between the Japan Innovation Party and the LDP, the Liberal Democratic Party, as you mentioned, is 2 seats short of a majority. But there's 7 independent seats that lean towards the LDP. And we also see other conservative parties within the Japanese political context that are broadly aligned with some of the economic as well as the domestic policies that Takaichi Sanae represents in terms of her being the president of the LDP. So we think that she'll get across the finish line. We think that it will be a conservative alliance that prioritizes economic reform, prioritize strengthening U.S.-Japan relations, and prioritizing strengthening relations with Southeast Asia, India, Europe, and other countries with shared national interests.
Yeah, Professor, I'd like to know what this new coalition agreement between the LDP and the JIP suggests about the stability of Japan's political leadership under Ms. Takaichi, and how you see the prospects for legislative effectiveness.
This is a great question. In the media, the Ishin Party, the Japanese Innovation Party, is often represented as right-leaning or a right of center conservative party. But if you drill down into its policies, it's actually advocating for decentralization of power from Tokyo. It's a proponent of LGBT rights. It wants to support healthcare, childcare, nursery care to get the Japanese economy going. In this sense, I think that the Japanese Innovation Party is aligned with Takaichi Sanae's economic policy, the importance of deregulation, of getting the economy going, of distributing wealth, dealing with inflation, and creating a Japanese economy that's just much more competitive compared to its peers, but in general. The
Professor,
other coalition parties that may... Yes?
No, please go ahead, Professor. Please continue.
So the other coalition parties that we would likely align with, both the LDP and JIP, are going to be broadly aligned with these goals. Is it sustainable? That all depends on how much traction they get at the start and how effective Takaichi will be at corralling these coalitions. And lastly, how effective and balanced she'll be in terms of her foreign policy. And I'll leave it, we can move on to that if you'd like.
No, I mean, I want to pick up on this particular point because you talk about being aligned with the economic policies, the JIP and the LDP. But I do want to ask you about some of the other demands, some of which seem to run counter to Japan's established institutional and electoral dynamics. So I'm wondering how accommodating and flexible are you expecting Ms. Takaichi to be, both domestically as well as internationally?
So at the domestic front, Arnold, I think that it's going to be incredibly important that she does find compromise, those crosswalks between the coalition partners, because if she doesn't do that, she's not going to be sustainable, and she'll be the first and maybe last female prime minister in Japan for a long time. So she's going to, again, focus on decentralization. They've already agreed to that. They focused on recognizing Osaka as kind of the second capital of Japan. They're going to be focusing on those policies that we call them family policies or family-friendly policies, trying to get the economy going so people have families. So these are alignment. Whether they can fundamentally restructure some of the very, very generous social welfare programs so they're more sustainable in a way that the Japanese Innovation Party would like. This is a big question, but I do think there's space for compromise. On foreign policy, she has the potential to really, I think, fundamentally reshape Japan's foreign policy by investing in defense and technology cooperation with the United States, by taking a pragmatic approach like her mentor, the late Prime Minister Abe Shinzo, when it comes to China. That means engagement, but also building resilience into the Japanese economy and investing in deterrence. And hopefully she makes a good decision and decides to skip the controversial visit to Yasukuni Shrine and finds other ways to pay respect to those people that lost their lives in Japan's imperial period. If she does this right, she balances it right, what we will see is that the relations within the region will be continuing to be stable economically, and that stable economic external environment will trickle into the Japanese domestic market.
Yeah. Professor, I just want to also look at the broader implications of this LDP split with Komeito after 26 years. I mean, what is long-term realignment in Japanese coalition politics means to you? I mean, how will it affect the country's political dynamics going forward?
So broadly around the world, we're seeing a tilt towards more conservative governments, whether it's the United States, Poland, Hungary. Many countries feel that a more conservative approach to governance is the way for sustainable leadership and to deal with many of the challenges that have emerged in the post-COVID period. So as we think about Japan moving forward, its conservative policies are uniquely Japanese. The government is highly interventionist in the economy. It has national health care, free dental care for children. University education is either low or it's going to be free for Japanese citizens. By any page of the book, you would call this actually not a conservative government, but a liberal government. On foreign policy, it will continue to balance a very strong relationship with the United States, whoever's in the White House, and the need to have a strong, pragmatic economic relationship with China. This is the same calculation that South Korea, Singapore, Southeast Asian countries, and European countries also have. There's a limit to the securitization of this relationship. And lastly, and I think importantly, is that Takaichi is trying to re-envision what Japan means for the region and the world. Can it be a strong leader? Can it be a democratic state within the region that's economically vibrant, deals with the challenges of the 21st century, and provides leadership as a contrast to some of the growing authoritarian trends that we've seen over the years?
All right, Professor, so you think that she will work with the United States, work with President Trump. I do have a question because you also mentioned Shinzo Abe earlier. I'm wondering about the personal dynamics between the two. Do we know if they know each other very well? Are they going to get along, or is it going to be more like Suga and Ishiba, who had fairly distant relationships with Trump, and that was, you could say, or you could argue, to the detriment of Japan?
So my belief is that her relationship with Shinzo Abe, who was apparently a close friend of Mr. Trump, will be a political asset for Takaichi Sanae. The important point for her to be successful is not to be Abe Shinzo 2.0. It's for her to be a successful Takaichi Sanae 1.0 that engages in the kinds of structural reforms that Japan needs. On the on security, on the importance of rule of law. These are areas that I think Takaichi and President Trump will broadly be aligned. On migration, we've seen the debate within Japan really reflect the debate that we've seen globally, no illegal migrants, and to be much stricter on these ideas of migration. So I think there's a lot of alignment, and Japan will continue to have strong relations. And I think that Takaichi's profile, being the first woman, being a successful leader, being aligned with Abe Shinzo, being tough on security, tough on immigration, will probably give her some political capital as she deals with President Trump, who shares many of these visions, although is not as articulate in sharing these visions as I think other political leaders, such as Takaichi Sanae, is.
Understood, Professor. We thank you for your time and for your thoughts this morning. Stephen Nagy is Professor of Politics and International Studies at the International Christian University.